Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome back to part 4 of my bonsai show trees for 2018. Today I'll be doing some midsummer work on my bonsai show trees, and I got a new lens yesterday. The lens is a 10 to 18 millimeter wide angle lens. Today we have a little bit of tech and lots of trees coming up in the bonsai zone. Here's my standard lens I use, my 18 to 55 millimeter zoom lens. So I'm holding it at arm's length right now, and you can see I can kind of just fit my head in the picture. Here I am standing the aisleway in my bonsai area, and you can see I can't get all of this forest in, even though I'm on my widest angle here, my 18 millimeter. Yeah, and when I get in close to the forest, I get some perspective, but not really enough to make it look really realistic, especially when I look up at the trees and that. So I've always wanted a wide angle lens, and I didn't want one that makes everything look fisheye. So when I found this 10 to 18 millimeter zoom lens, I thought, yeah, that's the lens for me. So this is using my old lens, my 18 to 55. So I'm going to switch now to the new lens, which should allow me to get even closer to the trees and get more perspective, and it should be a little steadier a shot too. When you go to a wide angle lens, all the shakiness seems to go out of the picture. So I'm going to switch now to the new lens. I switched lenses. This is the new lens, and you can see I'm just holding it at arm's length, and you can see how much more of the background I can get in. So yeah, it's really nice. I don't have to, my face isn't right up to the camera. So it's a little better for handheld shots. Here's that same shot of me in the aisleway of my bonsai area, and you can see the whole tree is in the picture, which is really nice. And when I go in close, you can see the nice perspective I get. It looks quite real. When I pan up at the top of the trees, it really gives you the feeling you're underneath a giant tree. I'm going to try a nice smooth pan here. Yeah, it looks a lot more smoother. The forest looks larger. And I can actually try and enter the forest here, so kind of fly into the pathways here. Kind of explore around the pot. Here's a shot of the Avatar Grove now. So again, we'll fly in slowly. Have a look at the base of the tree. We'll pan up. Then we'll enter the forest and move around a bit in it. Look over this direction. So I'm really happy with this lens. It gives you a lot of perspective, makes the trees look really big without it being like a fisheye lens. It's about as much distortion as I could tolerate, I guess. Any more and it would start to look funny. So we can go up the tree now. Yeah, the perspective really gives you a feeling you're standing under a full-size tree. Entering the yucca forest. Yeah, it really lets you explore around in the pot. Looks nice and steady too for handheld shots. Here's an overall kind of shot of the bonsai area now, and you can see how much I can fit in now. Really nice. We'll go in the greenhouse and see how that looks. So you can see how much of the greenhouse I can get in my viewfinder with this wide angle lens. Really nice in small spaces. Yeah, you can really get the entire planting in. It'd be very close to it. Look at that. That is so cool. So yeah, very happy with this lens. That's the 10 to 18 millimeter wide angle lens. And now I'll work on the first tree for today. This tree was my very first bonsai tree. It was started from a seed over 25 years ago. This tree has never been in a show, and I want to talk about when a tree is ready to go in a show. There's many different kinds of bonsai shows. There's your local club shows, there's bigger ones that are open to the public, and then there's even bigger ones like national shows or regional shows. Generally, the bigger the show, the better the quality of the trees. So if you're putting a tree in your club show, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece, just one that you've worked on for a number of years. This Ficus microcarpa will just continue to get better and better over time. So you have to decide, well, when is it ready to go in a show? If I wait 5 years from now, it'll look even better. If I wait 10 years from now, it'll look even better. So, you know, you have to decide a time where the tree is showable, where it's looks good enough to put in a show. I think this tree is matured enough that it's ready to go in a local show. It has some nice features on it. It has a nice root base. The canopy is starting to form. It does have a long way to go before it's a really nice tree, but I'll keep working on it over the years. About the only work I can do today on this tree is to trim back the foliage, some of the long shoots that have grown out of the profile, and just kind of prune it back to shape. The leaves on this tree are quite big, but I don't want to defoliate it. It would weaken the tree. It would take months for it to recover. And I'm trying to grow and develop this tree still. It's in a development phase. So I'm going to present it as it is, just trim it up, and it'll look quite presentable for a club show. It wouldn't be suitable for a major show or anything, but yeah, I'll just tidy it up today and make it look as nice as it can at this stage. It's time to prune the tree up, so here I go. I'm going to reduce the canopy down to the correct height first, starting in the middle of the tree. I can't reduce it a whole lot, but some. That's about as low as I can get the top of the canopy. So now I'll prune my umbrella style profile. I'm having a look at the tree from the front now, and it looks like I still have some work to go. Looks like this side could be reduced a little more, rounded a bit. So mainly in this kind of corner here and this corner over here, just to round the profile a bit more. So I think that's about the best I can get the profile of the upper canopy. Like I said, it doesn't have a lot of ramification yet. It's still in development. So there's some branches down low that I think I've got to clean up. Some hanging branches. Eventually the profile will fill out kind of down below, and it will have some hanging branches. But for now, that one kind of comes straight out. Doesn't look very good. Like I said, I want everything to flow with this tree from the roots up the trunk and out the branches and kind of start weeping towards the tips. So I think I'll have to remove that hanging branch. And I think that's about it today for this tree. I'm very happy with the progress of this tree. It's been with me for almost half my life. So we go back a long way. So on to the next tree. The next trees I'll be working on is my pink pixie Bougainvillea bonsai forest. This forest was just small sticks when I planted it, and now they're starting to flower. Here's a shot of the flower buds, and over on this side of the tree there's more forming. This little forest does need pruning, so I'll have to decide, well, do I prune it down and prune off my flowers, or do I just let it grow as is? Flowers are always nice at a bonsai show, but I think with this forest my priority is to develop the trees, and once they've developed nicely, and then to have them flower. I'm going to prune the trees down, not worrying about the flowers at this stage. Take it off right here. Now I'll step back and have a look at it. I think that's about all the midsummer work I can do to the Bougainvillea forest. So I'll put it back in the greenhouse and let it continue to grow. The next trees that need trimming is my Serissa foetida forest. The shoots on this forest have grown quite long, so it needs pruning back. So I'm going to prune them back to like the first leaf nodes. Pruning everything back shorter. There's a shoot here I could prune back. Another one here. Every time I prune one of these growing tips, it divides into two, and I get more ramification in the canopy. I'm just removing some of the older leaves which are kind of large and getting a little yellowish. And I think that's about all I can do on this forest for now. All this will grow in before the fall show, so hopefully it'll look good enough for the show. I want to display all my small forests on a little mini bonsai bench. So hopefully, you know, they'll look presentable for the show. I'll put the Serissa forest back on the bench, and it's time to get out the next tree. The next tree I'll be working on is my Ficus microcarpa in my Vietnam style bonsai pot. This tree is planted in a 3D printed bonsai pot, and it stood up to all the heat of the greenhouse over the summer. This tree has been growing really well this summer, so today I'll prune it back to size. That's got the canopy roughly to shape. I've got a branch in here that grows from the back of this trunk and crisscrosses in front of this trunk. So I think I'm going to have to remove this branch. Yeah. Alright, so here I go. I'll prune it off flush here. Like that. And there's another little one here I'm going to have to prune off also. Like that. It leaves this side of the tree a little bare, but something will fill in here eventually. There's also another branch growing in here that's interfering with the trunk line. So I'm going to prune that off also. Right there. This tree is starting to get a lot of aerial roots forming on it, and some of them are growing down around the pot here, out of the drainage holes here. It would look pretty good if they grew down into the soil line down here. Kind of give a unique feature. This branch here fans out nicely from the trunk, but then I have a vertical growth here, so I'm going to prune that off. Like that. There's a branch growing on the inside here I can remove. Last time I pruned this tree, it didn't have a lot of foliage on it, so I couldn't, you know, make a lot of styling decisions at that point. But now that it's filled in a little more, I can start to, you know, sort out the structure a little better. There's another one I can remove on the inside here. That's all the work I can do today on my Ficus microcarpa. I have lots more possible trees that I could put in the 2018 Club Bonsai Show this fall. But I think this video is getting a little long, so I'll continue this in part 5 of the series. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for watching today in the Bonsai Zone.